on the online dating apps, they'll just be like, the first question that comes up with these guys is, oh, like, have you joined the Mile High Club? Like, oh God, I don't want to talk about that. Automatic delete. I delete them. I'm like, you know what? I'm 32. I don't have time for this.
Welcome to the Business of Beauty podcast, where we talk money with people in beauty-based industries. Today, I'm joined by Ariel Cisneros, longtime friend of mine,
Hi.
And flight attendant. The flight attendant industry is an industry that is rarely talked about, so that's why I'm super excited to grill Ariel on the industry. So let's start with the biggest thing that I've seen kind of trending on social media, which is that flight attendants don't get paid until the wheels are up. Tell me if that's true and how the heck that works and why you're not getting paid for everything that you do beforehand and after.
Okay. The wheels up. For us, I can only speak on like my airline, and I can't actually say like what airline, but it is when the doors are shut. Also, I probably should like introduce myself. Hi, I'm Ariel.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ariel. So for some airlines, I can't speak for every airline, but for us, it would be when the door is shut. So I'm not getting paid for boarding. I'm not getting paid for sitting in the terminal with you guys when your flight's delayed to Cancun. My duty day is extended, but technically I'm not getting paid by the hour. Do you get me? Like, I'm not getting paid my rate until that door is shut.
Yeah, that's the part that's confusing because
Yeah.
you get paid for your trip, but you don't get anything extra for how long security takes or how long you're sitting in the airport when flights get delayed or anything like that. You don't get paid for any of that.
So we're protected by a union. So other airlines, I can't speak for everyone. I'm going to keep saying that because I can only speak for myself. Some airlines do not have unions. Like, as a domestic airline, we have a union. We're protected by ours. But in our contract, there's nothing about that. It just says our duty day is extended, right? So after like 12 hours of work, then we'll get that time and a half. Then we'll get, some other compensation on top of like the actual trip for pay. That's how we get paid. So per like trip, let's say I'm on for 3 days, I'm getting paid 19.5 trip for pay. So I'm guaranteed that after that, the duty day rolls. It's so really complicated. Yeah. It's complicated. Even for a flight attendant. Yeah. Even for a flight attendant. Like, I've been with the airline for 6 years. I've been, I worked in other positions too. So I've been with the airline for almost 8-9 years, and time flies, when you're living month to month. But even 6 years, I could hardly explain it. I just know that I'm not getting paid what I think I deserve.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So you've been with this airline for 6 years.
Yes.
Well, now, 8. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in total. So where are you on the totem pole as far as seniority goes, and what happens when you get more seniority in an airline?
So I am a tadpole still in this. I mean, I have worked with women who've been with the airline for 32 years. I mean, some of these women have been with the airline longer than I've been alive. Wow. Yeah. And I'm working with senior mamas. Like, I'm working with ladies 32, 33. They've like, from the conception of the airline to now, we're like, I'm thinking they're going to retire. And it's like, nope, still here. I'm still getting that insurance. I'm still getting, my benefits. And actually, those are the flight attendants I really do enjoy flying with, because they've seen it all. They'll show me their little cigarette burns on their legs when you were able to smoke on the aircraft. Kind of head first class, they're smoking on the aircraft. They have, it's their war wounds. But, wow. Yeah. So, I'm still a tadpole in this industry. Six years is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. And it's based on, it's really based on where your, hub is. So where you're based, right? So like, for example, only for my airline, Dallas would be considered a senior base. Phoenix would be a senior base. LA is pretty junior. So I have some, I'm pretty like, I'm not saying I'm like up there, but like, you're not going to see me sitting reserve unless I pick up reserve, which I did yesterday.
What does that mean for those who don't know what reserve is?
So the reserve system kind of works like this. So you have an AM reserve where you're available on call for 3 days from 3 a.m., I believe, to 3, 4, 5 to like 10 a.m., something like that.
Reserve is basically on call.
On call. You're just on call. You need to be by your phone. There's a list. You can see yourself on the list, but you need to be available to them whenever they need you. Okay.
That's no way to live. That's stressful.
Believe me, my eyes twitching. I'm so stressed. I was on reserve yesterday. So like there's AM reserve. I was on PM reserve. So I was available from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm sitting around waiting. I'm like, any minute now. You know, like my phone's going to ring. What if I don't have service? Yeah. I have 20 minutes to call them. And then I have a backup number. My friend Liz is my backup number. And they've called her. There's been times where I've missed it and you get reprimanded. You do. You get like points. You don't no show. You don't answer. You get fail to report. And it's stressful. It really is. I think the most stressful isn't AM or PM. It's ready reserve. You have to be available for 24 hours. It's not 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's until like all day for 3 days until we need you.
So you don't get paid to sit on reserve?
You are guaranteed, I believe it's 18 trip for pay. So 18 hours, even though you're available for 24 hours.
Okay, so that's ridiculous.
That's also another it's another topic that needs to be up for negotiation when it comes to contract negotiation. Like we need a quality of life. That is not quality of life at all.
Yeah. So you get paid by the hour and by trip, essentially.
Yes.
So for somebody who just became a flight attendant yesterday, what does a brand new flight attendant typically make per hour? I know there's probably differences in different markets, but give me a ballpark number.
Once again, it's going to depend on the airline, right? For us, I believe, I'm sure someone's going to have my head for this. I could be totally wrong. But from when I started, it was about $23.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's not bad. You're just starting, seeing if you like it. I know we're hiring younger, so we're hiring girls that are just turning 21. And with inflation and everything, you're making $23 and then you bump up automatically like to 24, 25. That's probably the most they've made.
Yeah.
Like in their lifetime.
So you're hiring 21-year-olds.
Yes.
Now the reason that I wanted
feel like
to...
a grandma.
No. Oh my gosh. Well, that's what I was going to ask about is I'm like, so what is the age out age? This is the reason why I wanted to have a flight attendant on this podcast. Do they prefer to have a cute, young and sprung 21-year-old instead of a 50-year-old who's, not quite as young and sprung?
I'm sure the 1970s, yes, there was also like a weight restriction too. So like,
really?
Yes, there was a height restriction. You had to be a certain height. I would be considered overweight. I'm
really?
145 and I would be considered overweight.
Oh my God.
Back in the day. Like I'm 5'6". I believe that was okay. I'd have to talk. You'd have to get a senior mama on this podcast who's been like, I've been a flight attendant for 32 years. And I'm going to tell you right now, sweetie, you would not be able to wear that. You would not be able to say that. And I'm going to tell you right now, sweetie, you'd have to drop at least 15 pounds. So yeah, but that's back in the day. Like now, age, I do not believe, and one, it's illegal, but two, I don't believe it does play a role. I would imagine strategically when you're in that hiring process, you would want to hire somebody who, if they're let's say the woman's 55, 60, most likely their kids are grown. They're out of the house. That's not something that they need to be worrying about. Right. But I can't say that this is like for certain, but if I were in the hiring process, I would say like, hey, like, I would hire a woman who's like 50 something. I would. Because most likely you're not going to top out. You're not going to come home. Like you're going to start at $24 and in, 10 years, you're going to probably retire, 10, 15 years, you're going to retire. Like you're not going to sit there and make $63, $65 an hour. Right. In some cases, like, believe me, I just worked with a flight attendant who's like 70 something and she could still toss. Hey, if you're willing, able and capable, my gosh. And I'm 32 and on my back, I'm like, yeah, she's
sciatica.
My sciatica. No, she is up and running. I was like, oh, God bless. But yeah, once again, you can't hire somebody based on their age or their looks.
You can't technically. That's what I am also very curious about is the looks situation for hiring flight attendants and also the sexism thing. Why do we see so many, or is it only because females are interested in it?
It could be females are only interested in it. I think throughout the years we've been better about hiring male flight attendants.
Yeah, I see a lot nowadays.
Yeah, and I love it. I really do. I love having a male presence outside of the cockpit. You know, because the pilot industry is also a male dominant field, and you're seeing a lot more women. And we're also hiring a lot too, and you're seeing a lot more younger pilots, and that's nice. It's really nice. It's nice to see a lot of men wanting to see that this flight attendant lifestyle isn't just for women. It's also for men too. Like, we have a lot of retired police officers.
Oh, nice.
Retired firemen. These real macho men, and they're flight attendants. They love it.
Yeah.
It really is an awesome career choice. Also, if like you have another gig or another job on the side, like you're only working 3 days on, 4 days off.
Yeah. That's a pretty good schedule.
It is. I could pick up, like, I was going to work today, and I'm like, no, I'm going to, do the podcast with you, and then tomorrow I'll
Thank
work.
you.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you're not allowed to hire based off of looks, but there are standards that you have to upkeep as a flight attendant.
Yes.
So tell me about the nails, the hair, the outfits.
I would be totally out of compliance right now. Like,
why? Just with new nails?
Okay, so new nails are okay, but as you can see, like, there's like a little chip right here.
Oh, what?
From what I was told, okay, like all word of mouth, sitting on that jump seat talk. We have supervisors that'll come on and they'll say, hey, that dress is a little too short. I'm going to have to put this in your file. Okay, so this was the dress that I was given, but a lot of girls like to alter their dresses and it gets a little too short. So we do have to maintain a look, right? My nails, I can't have these crazy neon colors. I love, like, during summer, I love doing like cool colors. That's not in compliance. My hair, I can't have this radical hairstyle. It's very conservative still, and it really isn't fair to some. I think they've definitely like laid back on the hair, because, a lot of like cultures with like the braids, and I feel like, which is awesome, because I love seeing, that I love seeing how diverse we really can be as a company.
And what about like a headdress or something like that?
No, that's definitely allowed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So,
wow.
I mean,
probably not 50 years ago.
No. I mean, I honestly have no idea.
That's crazy.
I was only 32.
So, yeah, how would you know? So, okay, for someone like yourself who has naturally, wavy-ish hair, how do you have to style your hair? Does it have to be up, or can it be down?
It could be down, right? But when I'm doing service, I like to put it back.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do not. My hair falls out. I'm a shedder. Like, I am. My hair is all over here. It's on the walls. It's on the ceiling. I don't want to find out that I'm like serving a drink, and I've done it before, and there is just like a little, strand of hair in someone's Diet Coke, and I'm just like, oh God. You know what? This is a Coke Zero. I can just smell it. And I'm gonna pour you. I'm gonna get you a can. I'm gonna get you a whole can of Diet Coke. And it's just like, I've done that so many times. Where
Really?
I'm just like,
Oh, how funny.
So yeah, I like to have my hair pushed back. And I know for international airlines, I do believe that they're supposed to have their hair pushed back, slick back. Yeah, because mainly for that reason.
And what about for makeup?
And
pantyhose.
I'll never forget. I feel like I want to tell this story because it still bothers me. During training, it's really intense. It's like Barbie boot camp. I didn't have my lip gloss on. Okay. We had just got done doing a drill, and I was like putting out the fire, and I had to wear this like heavy, like suit. And I just like took it off, and like, I'm like sweating because it's so hot. And we get back to class, and I'm like putting my hair back in a bun, and I get pulled out of class, and like 2 supervisors are like talking to me. They're like, Ariel, you don't have your lip gloss on. And I'm like,
after you just put out a fire.
I was like, I just put out a hypothetical fire. Like, what do you mean? They're like, you don't have your lip gloss on. You're not in compliance. If you were a flight attendant, this is training. If you were a flight attendant, you wouldn't be in compliance. And I'm like, oh my God, it was so serious too. And it's like one supervisor here, one here, and they're trainers. And I'm just like, they're like, just for next time, be sure you have your lip gloss on.
That is so funny.
And I was just like, oh my God. So like every day I go to work now, and it's like drilled in my head, even if I don't have lipstick on it, if I like don't have like a little touch up, I have to have my lip gloss. If I don't have the lip gloss, we can't board. Like,
wow.
No, we're not boarding. I can't find my lip gloss. Like, I'm not in compliance.
Oh my God. I can't believe how big of a deal that is. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Very nitpicky. I mean, quite similar to the modeling industry where people will grill you for the weirdest things. You know, you go in to see your agency and they're like, are your nails, black, not nude? Oh my God. Or like, did you cut your hair? Did you dye your hair? And they'll be like mad at you. So
the chip, like, is there a chip in your nail?
could you
I was like,
imagine?
I don't know. I paid $40 and it's a no chip.
Would I be in compliance?
Oh, we would both be out of compliance. We would be
Mine are so
fired.
bad
Are you
right
kidding
now.
me? We would be fired. We'd be working underneath the aircraft. They would not want us near passengers. Yeah, no. And then you got to also think, like, if you see, as a passenger, if you see my claws coming at you with a drink, like, do you know how many people look at my hands?
Yeah, I guess a lot.
Yeah. So if, here I am pouring your drink and I have like nasty nails or like, so it's like,
Yeah, it makes sense for health kind of concerns too.
I wish I could write that off on my taxes,
You can. Of
Can
course
I?
you can.
My dad does my taxes. He says I can't write. He goes, if you can use this outside of being a flight attendant, you can't write this off.
Oh, that is okay.
Oh, thank you. I we need to talk about this later because
yes. No, let's talk about it now.
Okay, yeah, because you know what? I spend about $100 every 2 weeks on my feet and my nails, and I have to have my nails done. It's part of being in compliance, right?
Well, then period. If it's part of your job, then you can write it off.
I talked to my dad about that.
I'm serious. I will have a conversation with him.
Please.
Because as a model, you can write off your gym memberships, your manicures, your hair color, your teeth whitening, anything, clothing purchases. You can write off anything that you did for your business. Which, see, it sounds like you do that for your business.
So even though we're not contractors, we're not.
Right. You're not like self-employed.
Yeah,
okay.
we're not self-employed.
So I guess I don't know about that specifically, but that's interesting. You should be able to write it off.
We should.
If they require you.
It is
to get
required
manicures.
to have your hair kept. It is required to be wearing, I think it's like within 3-inch heels. It's required, to do the upkeep. And for men, that are in this, they don't have to do as much as women.
Yeah.
Let's just be realistic. Like, no, they don't. Like, yeah, I'm sure they have to trim and do whatever, but like, we still have to wear cover up. We still have to wear mascara. We still have to. Has anybody been to Sephora lately? Like,
It's pricey.
it is pricey. Yeah, even Target. Like, I'm using e.l.f. eyebrow like pencils, and I'm like, now it's $4. Like. Because eyebrow pencils are at least 20, and I'm over here like, oh my god, I'm on a budget. I gotta prepare my food bag. I just went to Trader Joe's, dropped $50.
Oh, so funny. So, okay, didn't you tell me a funny story about the pantyhose?
I put like glue or hairspray on my pantyhose because it was like
you do?
dripping. That's
No.
a little flight attendant trick. If you have like clear nail polish and you have like a little hole, it's only gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, I have like 9 more hours. Like I gotta figure this out. So you just take your clear nail polish. You just.
Oh, that's a good trick.
Mhm.
Wasn't expecting to hear that. And then last thing I'll ask about the beauty standards is the heels thing.
Yeah.
You always tell me that, you tell your passengers, our priority is your safety, and we happen to also, serve drinks or whatever.
But look good doing it.
Yes, but our priority is to keep everyone safe.
Always.
Do you think that wearing heels is really the best way to accomplish that?
Absolutely not.
Why do they make you wear heels?
It's a part of the look, right?
Would you wear heels if you had the choice to not?
For medical reasons. I mean, my back, but I don't necessarily have to. You could also wear gym shoes. Like,
you don't have
well,
to.
we're very casual, right? We're the even though we are like, they still hold us to a standard. Like, if you're wearing the shorts, you can compliance with the shorts. You can wear black gym shoes. With compliance with the dress, you have to wear heels at least, like, I believe it's 1 inch. I don't know, like something of those standards. Is it realistically, if I had to evacuate the aircraft in 90 seconds and I'm in heels, I don't know. I honestly, I've never been in that situation, but no, it's not the ideal like situation to be in heels. Like, I'm kicking those puppies off. Like, let's go. Come this way out. Like, leave everything. Like, and of course you're going to have like that one guy looking for his like suitcase and like, so. But yeah, no, heels are definitely not like the best thing to be in.
Of course. Speaking of that, waitresses in the sky theory
Glorified
that everybody says. What do you tell to people that are like, flight attendants are just waitresses in the sky? Tell us about your other duties and like all the training that you've told me about.
I'll remember that when you're having a heart attack and I'm offering you a Diet Coke. That's what I say. I do. I'm like, oh, you're just a waitress in the sky. Okay, well, I'll remember that when you're there and having a heart attack, and I'm the only one who knows how to work the AD.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that knows where it's at. Did you still want that Sprite? Wait, I'm sorry. I'm a waitress. Like, did you still want the snacks too? I'll give you 2.
Oh
You know what I mean?
God.
You seem like you really want it. Like, and it is insulting because like the training that we did go through, it was intense.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you're in a hotel, like alone, like feeling isolated, lonely. Like, you know, I feel like unless you go through it, right, will you really understand like serving snacks, serving, you know, Coke and your meals. That's a part of like the experience, but I am there for your safety.
Yeah.
I am there to know how to work that door, tell you exactly how to evacuate the aircraft in 90 seconds. We're 40,000 feet up in the air. You really think you think the pilots are really worried about, you know, somebody choking on a pretzel, you know, or no, they're worried about the aircraft. And it's not, I know people think that like, oh, there's got to be like an officer, like, you know, a Leo or a federal air marshal on the plane. No, not all the time. It's me.
I was going to ask you about the air marshal thing too. Sorry to totally transition right into that.
No.
But you might not be able to say, which is totally fine, but is there normally an air marshal on flights? Or
sometimes. I mean,
rare?
I've never just, you know, say that aloud. I'm not going to be like on the aircraft, hey guys, there's a, you know, a Leo. He's armed and dangerous. He's sitting in, you know, 12B. Everyone say hi to him. Thank you for his service. No, they'll be extremely discreet. You know, the crew will know, hey, like, you know, there's blah, blah, blah over here. And honestly, they're not here. Like if there's an altercation, like a verbal altercation, which I've had plenty of times, they're not there to like stop it.
Yeah.
They're not there to be like, he was so mean to you. Do you want me to say something? You know what I mean? Like
They're there for serious emergencies.
Serious like hijackings or like something's about to go down. Like someone's rushing the cockpit. Like that's what they're there for. And it's not all the time.
That's great that they have those.
Yeah, really. I love them. Like,
they're doing the Lord's work.
You have no idea. I feel so secure having them on my aircraft.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you said that they don't jump in though for just random little plane fights, which happen a lot. That's people's personal business. So I don't know, maybe you can't share because you're airline, whatever else. But how about tell me just a funny story of a passenger or, you know, customer of the airline?
I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh. I've had...
You tell me so many all the time.
I know, and now I'm going blank because you know what? It's when it's in the moment, I'm just like, oh God. This one lady was giving me such a hard time. She pre-boarded, and she was telling me that she couldn't sit down because I didn't want to know. I don't, you know, whatever's going on. I don't ask. Like, I don't even think I'm allowed to ask. I'm just like, just sit down, sweetie. She wouldn't sit down. So I'm like, what is this girl doing? So she's saying, I can't sit down too long. I just got surgery. And I was like, okay, I don't want to know anymore. Right. So, you know, she's like, well, anyone can sit right here. So I'm thinking she's about to sit down, and this lady comes on and she's like, oh, me and my daughter want to take a seat. I'm like, oh, why don't you sit right here? There's 2 seats available. This girl just starts throwing this huge fit. And I just remember being like, oh my God, like 1, she's intoxicated. 2, she starts screaming about the surgery that she underwent, and she got this like these butt implants.
Oh,
yeah.
That kind of surgery.
Yeah. So did I tell you this?
No, I haven't heard this one.
Okay. So she's like screaming about her butt surgery, and I'm just like, oh my God, I need to get her off the plane. And she's like promoting her doctor, and she's like showing her like booty pad. Like, so like when you get one, great marketing for any doctors out there who do BBLs. She's showing her the toilet seat. Right? Like she's the flight attendant, like, here's your life vest. Like, no. And it's the doctor's name and number, like who did her booty. And he's like, call blah, 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 this, best doctor out there. And I'm just like, ma'am, like, please, like, I need to get you off the aircraft, please. Like, so, is it because my butt too big? I'm like, oh my God, ma'am, please. And she like threw the thing at me, and I was like, I cannot believe she threw her toilet seat butt pillow at me.
Butt pillow?
But we got her off. But yeah, she was
that while you were in the air?
No, it was when we were boarding.
Oh, she got into
and yeah, oh my God, you know, and of course I'm not getting paid for this. I'm just like, ma'am, I'm not getting paid at the moment to deal with this because the door's not shut. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
no patience.
the craziest things happen during boarding.
Really?
Not really in the air. Once everyone's in the air, they're either sleeping. I mean, there's been, incidents, but like they're sleeping, they're chilling, they're on the plane. But like whatever's happening out there, their stress and anxiety is still happening in here. Now you're in confined space.
Yeah.
So like at that exact moment, I was like, there's no way you're going to be sitting. One, you can't because you're booty, but and you just threw your pillow at me. So like you're for sure not sitting for 4 hours. Get off, and it's just like, am my booty too big? I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know what it looked like before. So I don't know. Do you have a before and after picture? I could tell you if it's too big. But
oh my God. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
So what happens if an altercation does happen in the sky? Have you ever had to land or not?
Oh, divert. Yeah. I personally haven't.
Oh, really? Lucky duck.
Oh, good. Like, knock on wood. I have to go to work tomorrow. But no, I mean, I've heard some situations, and it may not be like a physical altercation. It could be a medical emergency.
Yeah.
It could. I mean, I've had that where like this was actually like a couple weeks ago. And you know what? I think this should definitely be like out there. If you're sitting in the window seat and you're like, I just am not going to drink water because I don't want to pee and I don't want to bother the people next to me and getting up and going to the bathroom. Be the inconvenience. Like, drink as much, stay hydrated. Like, stay hydrated. You're on an aircraft from Hawaii to LA. Like, that's 5 hours. Stay hydrated. Like, you literally, when you're up there, you're like a little raisin. Like, you're a grape. You get up there, you're a raisin. Like, she was so dehydrated. Her eyes were twitching. She went to like this, I couldn't talk to her. Like, we had this medical emergency. You were in a dead zone. Like, we're in the middle of the ocean. And I'm like, I'm about to have this chick, like, have this medical emergency. She's not responsive. She was just extremely dehydrated. And then finally, I'm like giving her water. I called for like a doctor on board. No doctors on board. Like, usually there's like one guy, right? And he could be like a vet. I don't know. But you know what I mean? He'll be like, I'm a doctor. And then, you'll have like a couple nurses, but there was nobody on board.
Wow.
Like, and there's one, I'm a teacher. Like, I'm like, okay, perfect. Get over here.
A teacher.
Yeah, I'm a teacher. I'm like, get over here. Like, help, but she was extremely dehydrated. And I'm just thinking like, where do we divert? No, you're in the middle of the ocean. It's like a dead zone. Like, we got to go straight to LA. Like, like that's pretty much the closest I've ever come to like, there's nowhere to go.
That's so scary. Because what if they were having a heart attack or something even more extreme?
We are not allowed to pronounce them dead if they were to have a heart attack and die, die. But we're not like once the paramedics get there, we continue to perform CPR. If it's an hour, if it's 2 hours, we have to switch off and you have to keep performing CPR. Yep.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That's like kind of awful.
It's awful, but it's also like, that's just like what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because you don't want to give up on somebody if you don't know for sure.
No, I mean, I've talked to flight attendants who have been like kind of traumatized by that situation. But when you're in that adrenaline rush, like you're just like, I have to keep going. Like, we have to keep you alive for an hour and a half. Like, I mean, I don't know if you're dead or alive. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a paramedic. Like, I'm just doing what I'm trained to do. Right. So like, I mean, I've had crazy medicals where I'm like, I did not go to school for this. I'm only doing what I think, like, what I was trained to do, to what, like, it's just like you're in like this tunnel vision, right? And like the adrenaline doesn't like when I had the guy, I think I told you I had a guy have a seizure on top of me. Oh my God. Like, I'm just like in tunnel vision. Like, I can't think of anything else but this guy. And then it isn't until like the plane lands that like, if anyone's had an experience like that, all of this like emotion and adrenaline is just like gone, and then like you have to throw up or you have to go bathroom. Oh. Yeah. So like, if I'm just there for Diet Cokes, like, you got to hear some of these like flight attendant experiences. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you do have to do a lot of training, but there is no schooling required to be a flight attendant.
I mean, there's training. Right.
But you can't get a degree.
No.
You
can't get a degree. I mean,
it helps to have
I believe
degree.
For us, it's you have to have a bachelor's.
In anything.
Okay. Yeah. So I do for our airline. I mean, someone have my head for this. I don't know, but like, yeah, you have to have some schooling at that point. Like, so I haven't met anybody who didn't have a degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to become a flight attendant, what are the secrets? What's the process? How do you apply? And other than a bachelor's degree, what might be required of you?
Well, first it takes a special somebody
Yes.
to be away from your family, being away from home, and living out of a suitcase for 3, 4, sometimes irregular operations have you away for 5 days. So the requirements would be the training, of course. And then the hiring process for us was, it's different now because they outsource the hiring company. But you go through, you apply, they filter through all of these applications and resumes, and then they'll call you. You do a phone interview. And now, ever since COVID, they'll do Zoom interviews, right? So you do the Zoom interview, then after you do the Zoom interview, then you do a face-to-face interview. And after the face-to-face interview, they decide if they like you. And then from there, you go into training.
And it's very competitive, right?
Oh, yeah. Extremely competitive.
Because, I know you know several people who have tried and...
my mom.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's applied and she speaks Spanish too. So she's bilingual and it's like...
She'd be so great.
Oh,
too.
my mom would be great. Sometimes I'm like, me and my mom need to switch because she would be the best flight attendant.
She would.
She's great. She's such a sweetheart. Southern little belle. Hey, baby girl.
Know, she's so cute.
But yeah, it's tough. And, it's not just like one little area. Like it's not just California applying. It's nationwide.
Right.
That wants this position. And it's like, there's been times where literally the entire system shuts down because of how many people are applying for this position.
Because they probably don't become available very often.
No. I think we're doing mass hiring now, but because we're going more places. But other than that, no.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
Competitive industry.
Very competitive.
By the way, I was thinking, we keep saying, I think you've told me that before, or talking about your mom, this and that. I should clarify that Ariel and I are longtime friends, not just here for the podcast interview.
Yeah, no.
We're recording this on Coachella weekend.
Our anniversary.
Yes.
Oh, should we chug a water?
Yeah. Funny story. But yeah, we met at Coachella, which I've never been since that time. So it's a blessing that we met there.
Yeah.
But like 6 or 7 years ago or something.
God.
So
yeah, I had just started my job as a flight attendant. Actually.
Wow. Oh
yeah,
cool.
that was actually my first weekend I was able to get off.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So special. Destiny. So yes, we know each other beyond just this working podcast relationship. Okay.
That's awesome.
All right. I would like to transition into how often do you get hit on flights?
Oh my God. Okay.
And do you take them up on their offers?
I have.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have. You know what? I used to be just like, well, I was dating, I'm not gonna say the name. Someone we don't speak of. No, I wish him the best. I was the best.
Oh my God, stop.
He was on my benefits. What? Okay. So
oh my God.
He got to fly for free.
We got to talk about that too.
I know. Okay. We got so much to talk about.
Yes.
Do I get hit on? Yes. And I have taken passengers up on their offer. There was this guy, super cute in Phoenix, and he was just like, he was in my section, and I've heard love stories. One of my friends, she ended up marrying a passenger. It happens all the time. Wow. Yeah, but of course, like with my lifestyle, it's really hard to like be like, sure, I'm gonna make my time to fly out to Oklahoma City and Tampa, and it's unless I'm like, you're the one, I'm just not gonna like really commit to it. If a guy wants to take me out for a drink, that's fine. I'm like, of course, like, but other than that, like,
it's like you're on The Bachelorette. It's you and all these men on the plane who are probably, it's kind of like, it probably happens so often where you kind of get your pick of the litter almost, because it, once a flight, some guy hits on you and you get...
It's so sad when they're like coming on board and then you're just like kind of thinking like, oh, it's so cute. And then like his wife shows up like after. I'm like, no, I'm not that girl.
Don't be that girl.
I'm going to go to the back and eat my Trader Joe's salad, So, but yeah, I can kind of look, and it's nice because like if I am working a Florida flight or a Texas flight, those cowboys.
Ah,
I love working flights going to Texas. I
really?
do. I love Texas men. I do.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is cool because I get to see like, oh, here comes a cowboy, and like, they're big, they're tall, and they're so sweet. They're so nice. And
You're a Southern belle at heart.
yeah,
From your
born in
mama.
Houston. Hey, baby girl. Yeah, she's yeah.
So you get hit on your fair share by
Mhm.
passengers.
Mhm.
How about by pilots? Let's talk about the pilots, because there are a lot of rumors, or maybe they're not rumors, about pilots being very flirtatious and maybe a little aggressive with the
Yes.
flight attendants.
Yes, and I would say it is just the aviation culture is, we're gone from home a lot, and sometimes things happen.
People get a little slutty.
Yeah, a little bit. I can't speak for everybody, but yes, to each their own. I don't know what's going on outside their relationship, whatever, but like I have been hit on by pilots, and I mean, you know me. I'm very outgoing, and I'll talk to the wall, so I would hope that like I tried to be careful with how I speak to my coworkers, just because I don't want them to mistaken my kindness for flirtation.
Yeah, that can happen.
So sometimes I do catch myself like, oh, I'm getting too nice with the pilot. I'm just going to like take a step back. I've had it where, though, I'm going to tell you right now, I have met some amazing men. And I really want to break that stereotype of all pilots are this, all pilots are that. No, absolutely not. Like, there have been some amazing pilots that have been like father figures. And you would think like, oh, they're a pilot. They've been in this for, they must have cheated on their wife, all this. No, they are like there for you. And believe me, there are those guys. Okay. They're there. I'm not saying there aren't. And that's in any industry.
Yeah.
I want to make that very clear that it does not come down. Does this job lead us to certain temptations because it's available? Yes. But it comes down ultimately to someone's character. What are their values? Right? If there's something going on in their relationship outside of this or their character, they're going to do it regardless if they're a pilot, regardless if they're a flight attendant. They're going to do it if they were, a police officer. They'll do it if they were an Amazon delivery guy. Like, you know what I mean? So
it's just tough because it's a little bit easy access staying at the same hotel with 5 attractive girls.
Yes.
And
it ultimately comes down to the individual.
Yeah, that makes sense. Of
That's,
course.
I just want to make that clear because I know like even right now, like, on the online dating apps, they'll just be like, the first question that comes up with these guys is, oh, like, have you joined the Mile High Club? Like, oh God, I don't want to talk about that. Automatic delete. I delete them. I'm like, you know what? I'm 32. I don't have time for this. And then of course they're just like, well, don't you get hit on all the time? Well, but that's your own insecurities.
Yeah.
Like, because once again, it comes down to the individual. That's not who I am. Right. So, yeah. But when it comes back to the pilots, it's like I've met some amazing father figure and just awesome guys that are friends.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Because, that's why I wanted to call it a rumor. I was hoping it was a
Yes.
rumor because obviously there are good people and bad people in any industry. And it's just, as you said, the temptation because you're all staying in a hotel away from your families.
You're
and
probably
things like
going
that.
down and you're experiencing, there's this mutual continuity where it's like we're all in the same industry and you're just bouncing back on these experiences and what happened this flight, and you're with each other for 3 days. Well, not you're sometimes, the pilots aren't with you that long, but like, say like, you're away on a trip and you're with the same pilots, like, sure, you're there with them for a couple days, things could happen, but ultimately it goes down to the individual.
Yep.
So yeah, the temptation is always there. I think no matter in what industry, like even the office space, the 9 to 5, you're with this individual.
Of course.
You got a work
office
wife.
boyfriend. Yeah.
Office boyfriend,
Exactly.
work wife. Like, yeah. And then you go home to, your reality. Right.
Yep. So it exists in every industry.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned the Mile High Club.
Oh God.
And I'm not going to, ask you the same question that all those boys do online. But I wanted to ask, have you ever had to intervene when 2 passengers are trying to join the Mile High Club? And how do they do that in those small bathrooms on a short flight when there's a line down the alley or whatever that's
called?
This
is commercial airlines, right? So like, I think when people think of the Mile High Club, they're thinking of like, you could probably only do that on a private jet. I'm just gonna like be so honest. Like, one, if you are sitting on this commercial airline and you're in economy, first off, why are you wanting to go to the bathroom? That's disgusting. That's disgusting. I think that is like, ew. Two, like, go to sleep. Pop a melatonin. Like,
put on a face mask.
Drink some red wine. Knock out. You'll be, in Thailand in 13 hours. Like, just go to bed. Why are you even thinking about hooking up with some chick in this bathroom? Like,
so you haven't ever had it where you had to intervene, or have you?
I've never let two passengers go into this. If I see it, like, I have never let two grown adults go into the bathroom at the same time.
Yeah.
I've of course, like, a mother and her child, but like,
have you seen two coming out of the bathroom?
No.
And you're like, oh shoot, I didn't catch them. What?
I mean, no, I don't think.
Okay.
No.
Well, then there's that. It hasn't happened on one of your flights.
I've heard stories. I've heard stories where it's like, wait, how did they fit? Like, was she like on top of the toilet? But like, the bathroom's so small.
Yeah.
Like, what position are you in? My back hurts thinking about it. Like, what? Like, yeah, there's just no way. How do you even get a thrust?
I think it's a first class international flight or private, as you said.
Yeah. Private, I could totally see that happening.
So you mentioned that your boyfriend at the time was getting some of your travel benefits.
Yes.
Please tell me, what are your travel benefits as a flight attendant for yourself, and who else gets to benefit from those?
So we're going to just kind of, retrace back to every airline's different. For us, we fly for free. That's just like one of the benefits. Anywhere my airline goes, fly for free.
Anywhere, anytime, as much as you want?
Yeah. And, so then your companion or whoever you're married to, they also get to fly for free. So I think, Michelle, my one of my best friends, she is my companion. So she can fly wherever she wants.
So you can put one person as your companion.
Okay.
Nice.
And then you get the travel passes, right? So like ours recently just changed, but it would be like, oh, you get X amount for the year. And that is wherever our airline travels. So, and then we have, as an employee, we have a contract with other airlines. So like, with other airlines going to places that my airline doesn't go, we'll be able to use their benefits. And of course, everything's on standby.
Really?
Yeah. So like, I could have, all my girlfriends, they came to Thailand for my birthday. Yep. They all non-revved. That's called non-revving. So
you can put all those people on your.
Well, they work for the airline.
Oh yeah, a lot of them were airline.
Yeah,
yes, that's right.
But if the pass does go to, let's just say, like somewhere in Mexico, yeah.
And then you have to fly on standby always.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that frustrating, sitting there not knowing if you're going to get on a flight?
Yes, and that's just like a part of.
What if you have a wedding to get to or something like that?
Just book a ticket. Yeah, I just honestly, when my friends are, there's been people like, I haven't talked to you in years, and they'll like text me out of the blue. Hey girl, hope you're doing well. Do you by chance have a pass that I can borrow? I have a wedding to get to. Sweetie, if you have a wedding to get to, don't chance it. You don't want to get to that wedding.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have a wedding to get to. No, you don't. Not if you're asking me for a pass. I really need to get there. No, you don't. Not if you're asking me for a pass. Like,
so when you book your trips, you also have to fly on standby always. And if you pay for one,
if I pay for it, no, they don't comp it. Like, that's just, I'm paying for the ticket. I'm, a revenued passenger. I'm paying for my way there. I am now a passenger. I'm not an employee.
So you're like, I think I'm going on vacation tomorrow, but I could also not be.
Yes. But, I've been in this industry long enough to know, like, all right, if this doesn't work, I can go into, say I'm trying to get to Chicago. I can get my way there by going to El Paso, and from El Paso, I can see there's seats available, and then I can go from El Paso there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's not too bad, I guess. This is a business-focused podcast, so we are going to jump into some hard-hitting finance questions here. Can you accept tips on the airline?
It is frowned upon. We are
But
not,
you can.
I've been tipped a few things here and there. Someone's slipped some money in my pocket, but
Really?
I mean, it's tough times. But no, we are not supposed to be accepting tips.
Okay. So,
but if they're persistent,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna. How am I supposed to say no? What am
You're
I
just
supposed
like,
to
okay,
do?
thanks.
Like, oh, somebody gave me $10. What am I gonna do? Like, But our airline does not allow us to take tips.
okay. Understood. Because that just goes back to you're not really in the service industry. You're in the safety industry.
Yes.
Because a lot of service industries, tips are expected.
Yeah, we are in a culture where tips are now a part of your your hourly wage, right?
Yes.
Their hourly wage, I'm sure some of those waitresses are only making like what? Isn't it like $2 or something? How does it work? Or is it bartenders? Bartenders are making.
When I was a waitress, I think it was like, I don't even, because the hourly was so little compared to the tips that I didn't even hardly count that as income.
So your tips
I think it was
were
like
income, yeah.
it was like minimum wage, so whatever, $12 an hour, and then you basically, I would always put that aside, and then the tips are like how I pay my rent and things like that.
Oh gosh,
That's how it worked
America
for
for you, huh?
me. Yeah, I know. In other countries, you don't tip at all.
I tried tipping in Amsterdam, and they were like, "Why would you ever?"
Yeah, like
give
what
me
is
this?
that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about this already, that you're not a contractor, you're actually an employee.
Yes.
So
I get my W-2s.
you do a W-2.
Yes.
Okay. And then as far as health benefits and all that, they do all that?
All that.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
great.
weird
great.
because it's like a hybrid between you get to be super flexible and make your own schedule and all that, travel for free, all that jazz. But then you also have the stability and like the benefits of
And
a
that's
full-time employee.
awesome. Like, I think it's amazing. I really truly appreciate as much as like we're going through some crazy turbulence right now with our airline and just the industry as a whole. I love my company. I truly do. Like, I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't care what anyone says, because if you really think about it, like a lot of, like, you're talking about Delta and all that. I mean, there's one airline right there. They're contracted. Some of them are.
Really?
Some of those flight attendants, they're contracted with I believe it's, I forgot what the company is called, but yeah, so like they'll wear their uniforms. Like I think United too. I just gave away
Wear their uniforms? What do you mean?
They are able, because they're contracted, they're able to wear their uniforms to work.
You don't wear your uniforms to work?
No. Like they can wear different uniforms because they're contracted.
Oh, they don't have to wear
Yes.
the airline required outfits. They can.
They could wear different airlines, I believe, because they're contracted. Like, I'm not.
Oh, so
I'm an employee.
You're saying that they could work for different airlines because
this
they're
is a
contracted
company.
employees.
This is a company. Yeah, this is a certain company. I forgot. I don't want to give like the wrong information, but they can work. They can wear the Delta uniform. They can wear whatever, because I forgot what the company's called. I can like send you that info.
That's okay. Yeah, no worries on the exact name of the company.
Yeah,
but
we're my airline. We are employees, and we get our W-2s, and we get profit sharing, and we get benefits, and our family gets benefits, health benefits.
That's nice.
It is. It's really nice. I really am. Our 401k match is amazing. Like,
Wow.
I'm so grateful. I really am.
Yeah, and getting to live the lifestyle that you live and still having that security is really nice.
I love it.
So you mentioned that you don't get paid until the doors are closed during boarding. What about after the flight, when you have to go stay at a hotel overnight?
Yeah.
As a model and somebody who travels for work a lot, I get paid more when I have to travel because I'm spending all that time traveling and staying overnight. So do you get paid extra for when
We
you
get
have
a
to
per
stay
diem.
overnight?
It's called per diem. And
More like to spend on your food,
yeah,
though?
it's like $2. I don't really count that.
$2.
That's tax free. Yeah, it's like $2 every hour that I'm away or something, and it's
That's
supposed to cover
your dinner, basically.
Yeah.
So they cover your dinner.
Something like that. It's tax free. I mean, I don't see it there at the moment, but I know a lot of people want to know, like, oh, when you are on your overnight, do they pay for hotels? Yeah, the company pays for the hotels.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still working technically, so like, they put us up in some really nice places.
Okay, 2 questions about the hotels.
Yeah.
One, are you able to put in your hotel like loyalty number
Yes.
so that you can like rack up crazy hotel points?
I've been really bad about that. I know. I'm like the Marriott.
Yeah.
We say the Marriott, the Hyatt, and you give them the whatever number. I have been doing this for 6 years, and I still don't know how it works.
You've got to do it because you could be getting so much free hotels.
I know.
And those points rack up really fast, hotel points.
I'm staying at the Hyatt tomorrow, so I'm gonna be like, Do I have a number?
Yeah,
I probably
find
do.
out.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out.
You
so.
should. Yeah, you can get a lot of good loyalty benefits. Maybe even get the credit card. And then,
I know. I do want to get a hotel credit card. That's one because I want to have like your food credit card. Like you have 2 credit cards, one for daily expenses and then one for like travel.
Yeah, and there's also like American Express and Chase have a lot of hotel partners too. Like you just rack up points that you can use on flights, on hotels.
I have a Sapphire credit card. I love
Chase Sapphire.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's really good for travel.
Yeah.
Anyone.
I know the Chase ones. I prefer. Well, I haven't had the American Express one, but the Chase cards I like.
Oh, I love Chase.
Yeah,
they're so good.
Great.
We're talking about baking now.
My second question about the hotels was, I know you mentioned maybe doing like a house of Airbnb for flight attendants, things like that, housing flight attendants, crash pads. So my question is, since the airline pays for your hotel accommodations, why would they need that? Do you get to choose where you stay and then they reimburse you, or do they put you up?
Are you talking about like when we're working?
Yes, working.
So when we're working, the hotels are already like given to us. Like, hey, you're staying here. When you go to here, this is where you're staying. If there's an irregular operation, there's a certain, like say like I was supposed to end up in Chicago. I ended up in Florida somehow. There are hotels, like there's a team that works together. They're like, okay, we got you a hotel. Like we have partnerships with these hotels.
Okay.
So, or contracts with these hotels. So what they'll do is they'll be like, okay, there's a room available. We're going to take this shuttle or we're going to give you transportation. So they provide transportation, all of that to get us to the hotel. A crash pad is for a commuter. So somebody who is out of base. So I have a friend that lives in Texas, but she's based in LA. She has to commute to start work. And her report time may be at 4 a.m. And the flight that needs to get her here maybe 10 p.m. or 9. She may be landing in LA at 9 p.m. She can either sleep in the lounge in base, sleep on a little recliner, or she would get a crash pad. So that means like she'll get like this like, cold bed, a dresser. There'll be like 15 other flight attendants or pilots in the house. And then it's just a place to lay your head.
Is there an app for that?
There should be an app.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I think it just like created something. But yes,
is it really? There's no. I mean,
there's not that I know of. There's no crash pad app for specifically for flight attendants.
It's a cute name too.
Yeah, crash pad. There should be. There really should be. Oh, there's a cold bed available. Like there should be like a button or something, or like someone's checking out. They press the button.
I mean, it's basically like couch surfing.
Yeah,
I guess.
And it's cool because at least within the airline, everyone's gone through a background check.
Yeah, so you know that they're not usually total creeps. Can you give us one PSA to all of your passengers?
Yeah, PSA, be nice. Like, I feel like sometimes, I think, especially after COVID, people just forgot, like, being genuinely kind. They're like airplane etiquette out the window after COVID. Like, people did not know how to just be kind to humans, like, with each other. It's just like, and I get it, like after COVID, like you're in your confined space, like this is your, like, you're working from home and now you got to go on a plane and you got to sit this close to somebody. It's like we're all here in this little like metal tube, like I feel like sometimes like I like while I'm working I'm just like, oh, people can be really mean.
Yeah, I mean that's that's sad.
Just be kind and just ask how we're doing. Not that I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, let me tell you my day, but like, yeah, I feel like just be nice to us and work. And it goes a long way. If you genuinely look at a flight attendant and while they're boarding and you're like, how are you? Like, oh my God, no one. And it's almost like comes to a surprise for me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank you for asking. Because no one asked. I'm like, hey, how are you? Hi, welcome. Like, and people just like look past me.
Wow.
Yeah. And then bring your flight attendant some goodies. Like, I love chocolate.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God. When a passenger brings us like a chocolate or like a little something or even a thank you note, I've gotten like, hey, I appreciate you for being here. Thank you. Like, it's almost like, oh God, someone notices me.
That's so sweet.
It is. And it's so sweet that you took the time out of your day to be like, you know what? These flight attendants have been gone for 3-4 days. They probably haven't seen their family. They're probably on their last cold salad in their cooler. They haven't had a hot meal, like, and someone thought of me. They don't even know my name. They don't know who I am, but they thought of me to bring like a treat. Is honestly, what do you need?
Yeah.
If I need to evacuate this aircraft, everybody sit down. I'm coming for you. You're coming first.
Okay. Pro tip:
you're coming first, come here.
If you want to be treated well in an aircraft, give your flight attendants
nice.
chocolates.
Yeah, that's a tip. PSA:
or
give us chocolates,
or just be sweet.
Just be sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that said, a lot of times you're being treated poorly. You have to deal with all these crazy people. Your pay is up and down, very funky. You're traveling all the time. With all that in mind, would you say that it is worth it to be a flight attendant, and does it bring you joy?
There have been times where I have been like, is it worth it? Like with irregular operations and like holiday time, sometimes, with weather, and you're supposed to be home for Christmas, and next thing you know, you're stuck in, I was stuck in Texas for.
You had a rough Christmas.
I had a really rough
last year.
Yeah, it was really tough. It was really tough for not just me. I'm not gonna what was me, but like all of us that were working. I've never experienced anything like that. And if it wasn't for like my crew members and all of us being like good team players, I'm not sure if I would still be working with my airline. Like I genuinely can say like I was so like. I don't think people realize like the amount of stress that this job can put on someone emotionally. And if you're already depressed or anxious, like, and you don't have that teammate or like your coworker, like by your side, who's going to help you get through this, like it's hard. It's really tough. And I at that moment, I was like second guessing it, but like, I really had to sit down and take a break. That was like a week of hell. I had to like give myself, I had to take a Maui trip. I had to take a trip to Maui and really reflect Hawaii therapy and reflect. And at the end of the day, like I love the company, but I love my coworkers so much.
Yeah.
Some of them have been my best friends now. They're family.
A lot of them.
So yeah, it's definitely worth it. The stress. There's bad days every day, every time. It's not a bad life. It's really not a bad life. Like,
good lifestyle.
It's a really cool and fun. Like, I just came back from Thailand. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot. It's worth it.
Okay. So the answer is it's worth it.
It's worth it. Get through it. It's going to be worth it.
Okay. So the question that I end every podcast with is this. I know you said that you can't hire based off of looks, but let's be honest. When you get onto a flight, everyone, in my opinion, on the flight crew is relatively good looking, or at least they keep themselves together. They did their hair, they did their nails, whatever else. So my question is, what portion of your success and experience as a flight attendant is luck, genetics, anything like that? And what % is hard work and dedication to your craft?
When you say like luck, genetics, are you talking about like looks? Like,
yeah.
I mean, my mom has blessed me with some amazing legs.
So
That's
true.
Genetics.
She's known for her legs.
Okay, let me tell you, like, you can't see it right here, but these puppies.
They bring in the big bucks.
Let me tell you, they got me that commercial.
Oh, yeah. Ariel is like the face of her airline because she did one of their commercials. So cool.
No, yeah.
So even that, you got selected for that.
It was personality.
Yeah.
And that was completely, when I was auditioning, that was improvised. Like, that was, and I'm going to tell you, like, there are some beautiful flight attendants, and their genetics have made them like, and once again, like, I think looks is subjective, like beauty is subjective. Like, it could be, I think someone's extremely attractive and somebody else might think somebody else is attractive. And like, we have different, ideas of what beauty is. I think when it comes to like what I experienced with a commercial, it was all of how comfortable are you in front of a camera? How natural are you? Like, that was hard work, and that was like talent, really, like being comfortable in front of the camera, being able to read a script like that. Like, as for the job, I mean, looks, I think I can say, like, I'm not saying I'm the hottest like commodity out there, like I'm not like, but I will say that like it has helped me get to where I need to be.
Yeah. And
I do think that people respect people who take care of themselves. And I'm talking about when your hair is groomed, if your nails are done, you got your makeup on right. Like, if I'm showing up to work, this wouldn't even be professional to show up with a messy hair. It looks like I haven't brushed my hair or done my makeup. Like, who would treat anybody with respect, especially like at an airline? Like, it's like,
Yeah, it looks dirty and
yeah,
like
it looks
you don't
very
care
unprofessional.
for yourself.
You don't care about your job. You don't care about your health. Like, I think there's a standard that we have to set and to even like be looking professional. So
I heard a stat that if somebody is good looking, and that can mean that you just put yourself together well, whatever.
Yeah.
If someone looks put together, they assume other qualities about you. So if you look nice, you look beautiful, they assume that you're also smart, that you're also timely. What's that word? You're
punctual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't let that deceive you. I've met some very well-groomed individuals who are not punctual.
Yes, but people assume that if you're put together and good looking, that you also have other qualities, and that's just a fact. And so I think that, yeah, if you're put together as a flight attendant, you'll just be more respected on board and all that.
I think that goes for anybody, right? Yeah. So like, and also when you're put together, I mean, right now we're like in comfy clothes, you know, I'm in yoga pants and like, but like when I go to work, I am not only representing my airline, but I'm also representing myself as an individual.
Yeah.
So when I decide that today I'm going to wear red lipstick, like I'm embodying some like a character, who I am. Mm-hmm. So I'm confident. And it does, like when you're wearing that new outfit you just bought, right? And this goes, if girls, you guys know, if you bought this new outfit and you're like, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me and maybe a cute Instagram photo. But like, it's more for me. I feel good.
Yeah.
You take care of yourself. I'm not saying, oh, you drop some body fat. No, you actually go to the gym and you're eating a salad and you're healthy and maybe you have the chocolate here and there. But like, you feel good. You feel confident.
Yeah.
You embody this individual that you really are. And it's like, it shows. And there's a glow to you. Like, and I don't think it's just like, I think when people say beauty, right? It's like, no, beauty comes with like the soul too. Your character.
And the confidence, how you hold yourself. Yeah, that's why that's kind of the message that I've taken away from this last part of our conversation, is that it's less about what you were born with and more just how you put yourself together, showing that you kind of put some effort into.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even want to say your appearance, but just looking good, feeling good. I think that goes a long way. So I have to get the concrete answer.
Yeah.
What portion of your success do you attribute to genetics, good looks, and which portion do you attribute to just your personality, hard work?
It's
all that. My
personality, like,
so 100%.
I would say.
Do you think you would have gotten the job that you have if you didn't look the way that you do?
Yeah, I honestly, I mean, I would say, like, when I was hired, it was a phone call.
So they didn't even get to see what you looked like.
Well, it wasn't until I went to face-to-face. If this was in 1970, oh my God, it would have had to be all looks.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because even in my favorite movie, Catch Me If You Can, with Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, he fakes being a pilot and he surrounds himself with like 7 absolute stunning ladies to distract the feds or whatever. But yeah, so back then it was, as you said, 100, 0.
I mean, beauty. 90. Like, 90, let's 10. Be realistic. I know that some flight attendants are going to be like, no, like, be realistic. Like, there was a standard there that was set, and this is the protocol. You had to be a certain height. You had to be a certain weight. It's all written. Like, it's all there. That was the criteria you had to follow. Like, it wasn't even just like, oh, like, this is my opinion. You're just not pretty. No, they set those standards. Now of course,
for you, it's 10, 90 in the opposite
I would
direction?
say 80, 20.
80
personality, hard work. I mean, you had to get through training. I saw some pretty girls that could not even get through training. Yeah. That's a mental thing at that point. You know, you can't even be punctual and show up on time. Like,
yep.
So yeah, I would definitely say 80, 20. Can you open this door? Physically, can you open this door?
Yeah, that's true. You have to have some.
Yeah, you have to have some
muscle.
Strength. Yeah. Like, okay, are you mentally capable of being alone in a hotel room in a strange place? Like, some girls were like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, so
absolutely.
Yeah, 80, 20.
All right.
Definitely.
I love it. Well, with that said, thank you so much for coming on. You're a blast and hilarious on the mic.
Hey.
So fun. Thank you, Ariel.
All right. Let's go get a drink.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.